Hello, and welcome to Introduction to Business. I'm your professor, John Harvey, and this week you have the busiest week you're going to have of the semester. So it's just the way the schedule worked out. I apologize for it, but this week you have chapter 5, 6, and a test. And I really tried to not do that the rest of the semester. I tried to spread everything out, but this is the week where it kind of hit hard. So I apologize for that, but I know you guys can do it. You guys have been muscling through 2 chapters a week. You're getting used to it. So now we're just adding a test onto that this week. So the rest of the weeks, I kind of break it up. Sometimes there's a test, but it's only 1 chapter with it, or you'll have a paper, or, something like that. But yeah, this week's kind of rough for you guys. So take a deep breath, push through, and you can do it. You can do it. All right, chapter 5, chapter 6, and a test. You got this. Totally got this. All right. So I wanted to give a discussion board award for chapter 3. And in chapter 3, we're talking about marketing and growing a business internationally. So we talked about joint ventures and how that, kind of eventually, having your own company that's outside of the main country that you're in, and how that kind of, the progression there. So you guys had some very creative products and very creative solutions there. I was very excited for many of these products to go. And so I was like, man, what do I do? Like, you guys have some very creative solutions there, some very creative stuff. And I was like, wow, that's great. So I wanted to give probably the one that made me laugh the most was the Driftwood furniture. So Daniel, kudos to you on that one, coming up with Driftwood furniture. I realize it's a real thing, I get that, but just the picture you had on there, it just made me laugh. Like, yeah, let's go sell this hut thing at IKEA. Like, that just made me laugh. So nice job on that one. Well done. But yeah, there really is a progression. You can start by just selling something locally, and then, you can grow internationally, and then you can export it. And, it's another way for you to look at business and consider even the companies that you're working in now. Are there things that potentially could export? Each state actually has some funding that will support that. So if you can tap into the right resource, sometimes they'll help you. Like the state of Idaho will help people market or channel or ship products to China and stuff like that, just to kind of get exports going. There's stuff like that. And I'm just throwing that as an example, but something for you to think about for your own company. Maybe that's a whole other market. We're selling stuff locally. Is there a way that we could sell it nationally or internationally, right? So that's part of this this class is to help expand your horizons. So along those lines, I wanted to jump into the next kind of discussion board, or the next chapter, and talk about vertical and horizontal mergers. So this is another concept to look at. So not just internationally, or nationally, internationally, that kind of stuff, but there's this concept of vertical and horizontal. So as a company, if I look at something vertically, I would look at what feeds into my business and then what goes out of my business. So if I'm if I'm in construction, for example, right, the things that are coming into my business would be raw materials, right, like a lumber yard and nails and all that kind of stuff, right? And then what goes out of that would be finished property, right? So if I'm looking at this vertically, I could consider trying to acquire something in either direction, right? So what if, as a construction person, I don't sell off the building, but instead I turn around and rent it or lease it or something like that, right? Or what if, I'm buying so many, metal siding or something like that, right? I'm purchasing that so much that I decide to buy a company that does metal siding, and now that's part of my business, right? So those are all vertical mergers, where you're looking at the stuff that the company is using, and then the way that the company's selling, right? So that's kind of the direction there. Now, a horizontal merger would be where I really expand myself into a whole different market, right? So this might be, if I'm in a beverage, some sort of beverage thing, right? Let's say I do like beer, right? So I'm a crafter of beer. So I have this ability to distribute, right? So I've got trucks that make deliveries to different restaurants or something like that, or maybe grocery stores. And so I kind of have this infrastructure in place. So rather than sell beer, maybe I could sell some other product in addition to that. So, snack foods or something, right? Maybe I come up with some really cool chips or something like that, right? Now that's a whole different market, right? Because I'm not in the beverage industry, but now I'm providing snacks, right? So that's a horizontal merger. So maybe I go buy, some sort of chip company, and now I can distribute that along with my existing product, right? So you can think of it as a complementary product, or sometimes they can be totally different, but you just have that infrastructure in place, right? So maybe it's, operationally or logistically, or, maybe even geographically, or there's just something there that makes sense that you can then add on this other company, okay? So that would be an example of the horizontal merger. So different from vertical. And so that's what I'm looking for you, is to think about that. But again, I keep going back to it, man. Whatever company you're working for, think about what a horizontal merger would look like, what a vertical merger would look like, and play with those ideas, because you might find something that could provide a lot of value for the businesses that you're already in. All right, guys, with that, have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.